Morning, everyone. Today, I'll be discussing on a very important issue, like how to be a gold mine, or how to be an internet gold mine per se. Where, as an entrepreneur, you are the gold digger, and you're able to come out with problem-solving approach, which is actually gaining a lot of traction in the long run. Having said that, a very good business model which we can talk about and which has intellectual property associated with the business model would be Uber. When we talk about Uber per se, it's they don't have any physical asset per se, and they are an aggregator model. So a lot of business models are being formed around this idea whereby as a business entrepreneur you are an aggregator of xyz issues and you are actually solving a problem. When we understand what is a aggregator model and how to go about it, is it a two-way communication or you're just a mediator in that business model? You need to understand how you look to your business 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the lane. And when there's no physical asset involved, do you actually want to own a physical asset? Say, for example, in the case of Uber, if they had their own fleet of vehicles, the day you purchase a vehicle, whether it's X car or a Y car, there's a depreciation value. So when we talk about depreciation value, how would you evaluate that, and how would it hamper your growth as a business entity? So one should understand when you talk about the internet space, a lot of business models are being formed behind the idea of resolving issues, solving simple problems, whereby a lot of traction is being generated and replicating those models in other countries. So the ecosystem is there. However, what kind of returns are expected? So would you see yourself as a business entrepreneur 20 years down the lane? Where you see yourself? So those are the questions which you need to answer. And the kind of detour right now Uber is taking is what next. You should understand, like, once the business model starts to pick up, where to invest that money rather than owning those physical assets. Personally, I feel owning a physical asset is a liability whereby you don't actually know how to generate more income or more value from it. So any business model, when you are actually pitching it for funding opportunities or you're raising funds, though your business model might be having some kind of angel funding, but for investor to understand, it should be easy to understand business model, what are the dynamics involved, what is your ask rate, and how do you go about spending that amount in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. And there should be a match between the demand and the supply. See, using Google Analytics is a good tool. Using Google AdWords, again, it's a expensive way of advertising. However, if you're able to do your SEO, which is known as search engine optimization, in a way whereby you are actually coming on the first page after the Google AdWords, is Google is the only resort for you to do a online business model. So you need to answer those questions and see how to get around. Because even if you are bidding for a particular keyword, say for example in India, I was just going through the Google AdWord opportunities, and I saw like that costed me around 40,000 per week. However, can my content be such a huge hit whereby I'm coming on the first page? So those are the aspects you need to cater and hire people who would be able to help you in generating that kind of content. And what is the ultimate business goal when you are doing business, especially in the internet business model, whereby you're generating money or you're generating the big data? Are you using that big data to drive that particular business, or are you using that big data or the money generated for another vertical? A good businessman or a good entrepreneur in the long run would invest in different verticals, and the two most important verticals is healthcare and education, which is by far the domains where a lot of opportunities will always exist, whether there's a downfall in the market, whether the stock is going up or down. So you need to understand how to go about investing your time and money and energy in generating internet business models, whereby it might be a mobile business model or it is a desktop business model. So one should be able to reinforce the growth potential. What is the growth potential you see in your business for next 3 years? As an investor, when an investor is investing in the the investor is taking risk. One should understand that investor is taking a lot of risk, and when the investor is taking risk, the risk is for 5 years. So the business model should be such that the investor has to wait for at least 3 to 5 years. Should be taken into account, and when you are actually coming up with your elevator pitch, you should be talking about how to manage those depreciation values, or uh, what kind of liabilities you won't take in the long run. So, when you talk about the investment strategies, what kind of investment strategy should be taken into account is investing in a business model or investing in an idea which gives you more returns in the long run. Do you have a customer? Again, the match is supply and demand. So, your market research should be up to date. And market research doesn't mean, just some pie charts and some fancy charts. It should be groundwork. And the groundwork is when you actually go into the market and see and ask the real people real questions, how to go about it. Don't be a FOMO, fear of missing out. There was a time where investors were like, if I don't invest, what next? However, this is not the case in the current scenario, whereby the investors are very, very careful where they would be investing. But at the same time, the scenario is there where there's a lot of investment opportunities. However, one should understand that if you're able to generate some kind of intellectual property, again, it is not only innovation, it relates to your trademarks, your trade secrets, the kind of contracts you have with your employees, and kind of arrangements you're having, what kind of liabilities are there, how are you shedding your liabilities in the long run. So those are the key areas you should work on and see how to go about it. So, if you have any questions related to investment opportunities or how to generate intellectual property from your business, we would be happy to assist you. You can put your questions in the comment box, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm prity.khastgir. I'm CEO and founder of TCIS India. Bye bye. Take care. Have a great day ahead.